Hi everyone, Bernard here. I hope you're all well. Welcome to the Citizen channel as we look back at a Premier League game number 6 for Manchester City, isn't it, today at Bramhall Lane, Manchester City against Sheffield United, Saturday the 31st of October, Halloween. A bit more on that later about how City play at Halloween. Perhaps it should be called the Halloween team, I think, looking at some of the stats later on. Yeah, match 6 of the Premier League for City. We've got our usual features today. Got highlights and lowlights of the game, some match talking points, match stats, plus the quirky stats, which a couple of nice ones today. Our PEP last season watch, although we had a bit of trouble in the press conference with a mic or two, so it's not. But we'll get through. We'll have something to say, won't we? We may even have a Rodgers Rocket watch today. Who knows? We'll have one of them. Of course, Manchester Evening News, Simon Pekowski's player ratings and my player ratings. All the some media headlines. It's all about Kyle Walker today anyway, isn't it? And some comments as we look back at the game. Anyway, please welcome to the channel. And please, if you're new to the channel, push that subscribe button. I'm trying to get to 500 by Christmas 2020. Please. I'm a good 70 odd away at the moment. So please, if you can sub if you haven't, or push someone else in my direction. I had a bit of a mini rush a few days ago, but it's sort of stymied now. It's sort of stuck. So if you can do that for me, that'd be absolutely fantastic. Try and get me to 500. That'd be wonderful by Christmas 2020. And check my playlist. If you're into films and TV and drama, etc., don't forget I do stuff on that as well, reviews and information blogs on that. So it's not just Manchester City, I do stuff for films and TV. So if you know someone who might be interested in that, perhaps who isn't a City fan, who's not interested in this, but they're interested in that, please point them to my channel, or my film and TV channel. So we've got the Citizen channel and film and TV channel. I'm very greedy. I do all these things. Very clever indeed. Yeah, anyway. Yeah, comments always welcome, of course. Your player ratings would be great. Put them down if you can put your player ratings down. It's great to have them. And if you can't, I haven't got time to comment, a thumbs up's always nice, isn't it? It's nice to have look at that young lady there sticking a thumbs up. If she's going to do it, please, much appreciated. It's nice to know you're out there, and I love doing these things, but it's nice when we get some sort of feedback from you, the watchers. Right, Sheffield United versus City. The starting lineup. 3 changes to the Marseille game. You had Mahrez, Bernardo and Cancelo in for Zinchenko, Gundogan and Foden. And, of course, that was the starting 11. Ederson, Walker, Diaz, Laporte, Cancelo, Rodri, Mahrez, KDB, Bernardo, Torres and Sterling. A bit more on that in a second. Carson was injured in the warm-up, so I think Walker was a sub-goalie. Or I think they did mention Stefan, but I'm not sure whether... when I saw the sub list on the channel I was watching, they didn't even have a goalkeeper on it, so perhaps Walker was the backup keeper. So we've got Stefan injured and Carson injured. So fortunately, Ederson didn't have a lot to do. So I think there was one instance where he had to dive near someone's feet, but he was okay. So that's absolutely fine. Yeah, the other subs: Stones, Ake, Gundogan, Zinchenko, Foden, and Garcia. Yeah, I got 9 right. If you look at my predicted lineup, I was quite happy with that, getting 9 right. I think that's pretty good. I mean, I had Zinchenko in there, but yeah, I mean, Cancelo's a nice little alternative, isn't it? And of course, I had Foden in there, didn't I, for Mahrez. I mean, on the face of it, not much wrong with it, but we're back to obviously there's a few comments on the media watch, of media complaining about, well, it's all inverted wingers again. You're going to have Sterling and Mahrez again playing on the opposite wings to the natural feet, which, let's face it, will look quite good when we allowed Sterling to roam down his own side, didn't we? So, you know, was Pep going back to his, well, I was going to say tried and trusted, but it's not exactly stood up very well, has it, quite recently, that sort of thing. But it's nice to see Torres in the middle again. I say it's how long that will last, I do not know, because let's face it, he's not a striker, is he? And he can cause problems for defenders initially, but obviously that'll wear a little bit thin over time. But there you go. So I did ask what's happened to Stefan. So someone said he got injured in the warm-up, didn't he? I think he injured himself in the warm-up. So it was a cold day. It was a wet day. Perhaps he couldn't face it. I'm not too sure. Yeah. So there wasn't much on pre-match social. Most fans are quite happy with that team, to be honest with. And the referee, we've got Mr. Oliver, haven't you? Michael Oliver, not our favourite, probably not Sheffield United's favourite referee, as I commented on the preview show. Right, the match highlights and lowlights. So it could be better known, this game, as the Straight at Ramsdale 90 minutes. I think I might do this as a subtitle. I might, because everything. I apologise, because I did actually say in the preview show that I was hoping Henderson wouldn't have another great game, but he's gone back to the rags, hasn't he? He's gone back to United. So yeah, I didn't realise. My apologies. A couple of guys pointed it out, so please accept my apologies for that. But yeah, Ramsdale did quite a reasonable impression of Henderson. Everything. He did save everything, not to the great extent perhaps that Mr. Henderson did last season, but yeah, he did do that. Right, on to the game. McBurney, is it straight in, wasn't he? Shoulder charge into Diaz's chest. I mean, the thing is with Michael Oliver, there wasn't a single booking today, was there? And it is very, very, very lenient. That's the problem. I have, you know me, I have a thing about refs giving too many bookings out, but obviously Michael Oliver is the total. He's the total other side of it, isn't he? He doesn't give bookings. But that was just dirty from McBurney. I thought that was very, very dirty. And I thought, oh, this is the start of Sheffield being quite physical again. But they weren't quite as bad as I thought. But they were still put the foot in once or twice, and so it was a little bit worrying. So, but I say they weren't quite as bad. But I think a lot of it was glossed over. A lot of the sort of late tackles weren't really picked up on by the commentators or shown again. You know, I think there's a lot of covering up of it as well. Yeah, I mean, Ramsdale. We talk about Ramsdale, don't we? Instead of Henderson, he had so much to do, but I mean, virtually everything was straight at him. I mean, the weather was terrible. It looked terrible with the wind and the rain. And I know it's been it's not been that bad in Manchester. It was okay where we were. I mean, I live in Altrincham, so he did have that to contend with. So, I mean, you had a Torres header that was sort of straight at him, was he? You had a Rodri's rocket. Yeah, we had a Rodri's rocket. Fantastic. I mean, he hit it so sweetly, but again, it was straight at Ramsdale. So he did actually parry it away. He didn't catch much. I mean, a good goal. I mean, I think a good goalkeeper could catch those, but hey, that's just sort of trend these days, isn't it? To be safe and palm it out. And as I say, you've got to allow for the weather as well. There was great play by Cancelo and Sterling, and from 6 yards out, Torres again was straight at him once. It slid in, but you can't really blame Torres. He put it on target, just sort of hit Ramsdale and sort of managed to save it, like on the 6 yard from a 6 yard effort from Torres. 24 minutes, a Mahrez effort well over the bar, you know, but more on Mahrez in a bit. 27 minutes, well, thankfully we got that goal, didn't we? We got the 1-0 lead, which was to prove the thing that was going to, you know, that was it, wasn't it? Basically, it was going to be 1-0, but yeah, it was some great Sterling play. He sort of wasn't going anywhere, but he was taking players on, wasn't he, beating players. And he played it quickly back to KDB, who again, very, very quickly passed it on, didn't he, to Mr. Walker, the Sheffield United fan, the agent for Sheffield United in our team, who just thought he'd have a go at it. He knew he wouldn't go in, but there you go, it flew into that far corner. Again, Ramsdale, they were criticising him a little bit. I think they're being a bit unfair. That half didn't zipped across the ground. I think the commentators at half time, the two guys in the studio I was watching with Andy Gray and the other fella that I don't, you know, was a bit of an idiot. They were talking about it, but I thought it was a great shot. And he got his hand to it. Perhaps he could have done better with it, but I don't think there's much you could do with that. And of course, a subdued celebration, which we'll explain later. He explained it to the press after the game. Why he's celebrating. I think we know obviously he was a Sheffield United fan as a lad, so we assume that was the reason, but it wasn't all the reason, so more on that later on. But that was about it, 27 minutes. The last 5 minutes, Sheffield did actually, of the half, Sheffield United did look a bit more dangerous and did come into it, but they never really troubled Edison, even though they did have a lot more of the ball. So 1-0 for City at half time. Yeah, so second half, could we put it to bed? Obviously not, but there you go. 54 minutes, good play by Walker, but hit wide by KDB, but it's a pretty naff shot, to be honest with you. He was always going wide on his right foot. He was always going wide of the post. 57 minutes. Oh, yes, Mahrez straight at Ramsdale. Another chance where he just hit it straight at Ramsdale. Is that Ramsdale? I can't remember his name now. But anyway, straight at him again. 63 minutes, a great chance as KDB broke, but a poor pass, wasn't there? I mean, he had two options, didn't he? I'm not quite sure. I can't remember who's to his left. Was it Torres to his left? But Mahrez looked a shoe-in on his right, and he played it left, and it got cut out by the defender. I mean, I don't think KDB was at his best today. I mean, he was behind a lot of, obviously he did the assist for the goal. He was behind a lot we did good, but I don't think it was his best game today. I think some of his decisions were very, very poor today. Again, the conditions may have had something to do with that, although the commentators did say it was it improved in the second half, but it might have looked as though it improved, but I'm sure it was still windy. Obviously the rain had died down a bit, but I'm sure there's still quite a wind blowing, but yeah, it's not the greatest thing from KDB, I didn't think. 70 minutes, I mean, we were nearly 1-1, weren't we? The best chance of the game for Sheffield. There's plenty of bodies behind the ball, and there's plenty of City bodies there, so he didn't have much to aim at, and he obviously hit it over the bar. If he'd hit it lower, it probably would have been blocked anyway, but that was probably the best chance for Sheffield from Lundstrom, wasn't it, on 70 minutes. And then 71 minutes, I mean, fortunately, it was classed as offside, and I think it was when you look back at it, but obviously, Brewster went through, didn't he? And Ederson was probably caught in no man's land, but Brewster couldn't finish it off. Poor finishing, to be honest with you. He probably could have done better with that, but I think it would have been ruled out for offside anyway. So, but all credit to Ederson that he got an hand to it and stopped it, even though I think he was a bit caught in no man's land with that one. I won't hold it against him. 74 minutes, Sterling not as lively in the second half, but he had a couple of chances in the box where he just couldn't find that killer shot or the ball. I mean, he was beating players for fun today. I thought he played really quite well, but it was just that final ball again where he couldn't get the killer shot in or he couldn't get the killer ball across for someone. So again, it was a frustrating, but he did play well, but he was frustrating, like City were probably the second half as well. 81 minutes, Foden come on for Torres, had a nice little cameo. Sheffield stuck 3 centre forwards up front, I believe, 3 big lads up front. They went 4 at the back, and there was a lot of hoofing up when they did have it. Obviously, they didn't have much option get it, but we look good at the back. That's what I like. We look more solid at the back with Diaz and Laporte now. We don't seem to panic. I don't panic as much when the ball's booted high into our half, because we seem to win it, and add Ake to that combination as well. It's looking pretty good from that side of it. 84 minutes, a great run from Bernardo. Yes, straight at the goalkeeper. So yeah, I mean, this is what I'm going to call it, straight at Ramsdale, 90 minutes. If it is Ramsdale, I probably got his name wrong, but I think it rings a bell. Rams something anyway. Certainly not Henderson. 84 minutes, Gundogan went off came on for Mahrez. 85, what a fantastic, and it wasn't just a hopeful punt, a fantastic kick from Ederson, and could Sterling have done better, to say, but if it was a bit windy, it probably miscalculated, but somehow the goalkeeper managed to block it. I don't know, there's an image I think that I may have shown in some of the collages I've put up there that he sort of didn't even know himself how it hit him, but he managed to save it and get it away. But we were desperate, weren't we, for that 2-0 all second half, just to make it more comfortable. Even though we looked in control, it's not good. It's not good, is it? 3 minutes injury time, we sort of played it out, didn't we? There's one big hoof up front from Sheffield, but we played out. So full time, 1-0 to City. Ref watch, yeah, he was Michael Oliver, as I say, he let things go. I'm going to give him 6 out of 10. I'll give him a rating of 6 out of 10 today, because he didn't do too bad. He didn't have any major crises to cope with, and perhaps he could have defended City players a little bit more. Say Sheffield did keep the foot in a couple of times, a couple of nasty things. I don't think City were quite as bad on that side of it. I think we certainly didn't. We're not as physical. We weren't as physical as Sheffield, and I did expect that from Sheffield, but they weren't quite as bad as I thought. So yeah, to sum up the match, perhaps not as comfortable as it seems. I mean, we played very well. The finishing was very poor. This is the problem. This is what caused us, and that always means that 1-0 was always a chance we're going to let a goal back, isn't it? That's the trouble. So it puts extra pressure on the defence, and as I said, I thought the defence played very, very well, but you only need 1/2 chance or something, a long distance shot to go in or something like that, and we needed to put that game to bed, and we didn't, and that was a worry. It was a less comfortable 1-0 win than it was last season. If you remember last season's game, that was a 1-0 as well, but it was far, far more comfortable, even though we didn't look quite as good in defence, because I don't think Sheffield really offered anything last year. At least second half this time, they looked a little bit better. So yeah, they need to sort that out. Obviously, the conditions I think might have played the part, even though it looked as though it had gone a lot better in the second half. I think it was still a bit iffy. We didn't have the rain, obviously, but at least I think we still had the wind. And neutral, I think any neutral commentator would say we controlled that game. It's just what we had to do, considering how we've been, and you take these victories, don't you? But yeah, we should have really put it to bed well before that. Sheffield United, well, as I said, they weren't as physical as I expected, but it's going to be a long season for them, I think, based on what we saw. They aren't scoring goals, and then again, we're not scoring many, are we? But we're doing enough to win games. They're not scoring many goals, and in the Premier League, that's a problem. If you're not scoring goals in the Premier League, you're going to get relegated. It's as simple as that. And they didn't score masses of goals last season, but they were better organised and not letting many goals in, as I said, especially with the goalkeeper, because I think, to be honest with you, I don't think, obviously, losing Henderson is a big blow. I thought he was an okay keeper. He was prone to make the odd dodgy mistake, but he was generally a good keeper. But Ramsdale, if that's his name, please forgive me if I'm saying his name wrong, isn't a good keeper. I don't think he is a good keeper. Better finishing by City. We could have had 3 or 4 today, to be honest with you. So yeah, I think they've got problems, and I think they do need to buy a keeper. If you can get another keeper, I'd get another keeper. I don't rate that lad at all, unfortunately, even though he did manage to keep us out most of the game. Right, match stats: shots 3 for Sheffield, 16 for us. On target 1 for Sheffield, 8 for us, so half of them were on target, so that wasn't too. I said they were on target but straight at the keeper, but there you go. Possession 35% to 65% in our favour. Passes 369 Sheffield, 712 from City, again not bad considering the conditions. Completion percentage a little bit low, but again you've got to take into account the conditions we played in. Again, I'll not keep commenting about that, but they weren't very good, certainly the first half. 77% pass completion by Sheffield, 87% by City. So a little bit down. I like to see that 89, 90, 91%, something like that. Fouls, Sheffield made 14, City made 6, and Sheffield had 2 corners and we had 5 corners. I don't think Mr. KDB put them in the right spot, did he? If you saw my preview thing, he was bragging about where he was going to put these balls, but obviously he put them in the right spot. Our players just weren't in the right spot to make the most of them, obviously. Player ratings, here we go. Mr. Pekowski on the Evening News and my little player ratings. Ederson, in a game where he had very little to do, was down very quickly, emphatically, when Sanderberger flashed a ball across the 6-yard box. Guardiola wanted more communication from him. That's interesting, because he didn't have that much to do, did he? So Simon's giving him 7 out of 10. I'll give him 7.5, because they say he nearly set up that goal, didn't he? And he did, even though that guy was offside, Brewster, at least he did enough to save it, even though he was in no man's land. At least he was big enough to actually save the shot. So I'm going to give him 7.5. My base score is 7 today, so I think he was a little bit better than bog standard, to be honest with you, because of his distribution today. Walker, a goal that is thoroughly deserved for his performance here and at every point this season. His pace to get the Blues away from troubling situations at the back. He's give him 8, Simon. Yeah, I can't disagree with that. I'll give him 8 as well. Fantastic, especially with the goal. Absolutely superb. Diaz, a 7th start in a row and another consistent showing. He made sure he was in the right position to keep any dangerous deliveries away from the middle of the box. Yeah, he's only given him a 7 though. I mean, I'd give him a 7.5 for Diaz. I thought of him and Laporte. He was the better of the two. Laporte, understandably, as he gains more fitness, he looked more comfortable here than in midweek. This partnership with Diaz has the potential to be the best in the league. So he's given him a 7. Yeah, I'll stick at 7, which is my bog standard. I don't say it was anything fantastic today, just did what he had to do. Cancelo, possibly his best performance this season from left-back. I wouldn't have thought so. He was excellent going forward. Well, he usually is, but also committed in defence whenever he was tight. Yeah, I thought defensively he was okay today, but Simon's given him an 8. I've only given him a 7. I thought it was okay. I wouldn't say he was brilliant. So I'll give him a good standard City winning 7. This is what we got today. Rodri, other than one dodgy first touch that led to the Blues losing possession in their own third, and another instance where Berger bested him in the box. Well, there's two dodgy ones to start with. He did very well, denied any opportunities through on Ederson's goal. Yeah, so I'm not going to be cruel. I mean, he's giving him 7. I'll give him 7 as well. I don't think he deserves it. There's only one player getting less than the basic 7. Can you guess who it is? But we'll go on that in a minute. Bernardo, a quietly effective performance that included dropping deep alongside Rodri when required to marshal Sheffield United attackers. Yeah, So you give him 7. I'll give him 7 as well. I mean, he was very quiet early doors, but he did come more and more into it. And you could always rely on him to keep it and find a player. No, he didn't particularly do any bad passes that I can remember, and he was picking it up on the edge of the box and coming up with it. And he was just a workhorse again without being anything. I want to see a little bit more creativity around the box, but he's not got him doing that role at the moment, Pep. KDB, you made the difference in this fixture last season. His crisp, accurate passing makes such a difference how quickly this team moves the ball. Another assist, yeah. I mean, he's given him 8. So, yeah, he did get the assist, but I just thought he wasn't great today. I just thought he made some bad decisions or wrong decisions, which isn't like Kevin. For every one good thing he does one bad thing. But today, I think for every one good thing, he probably did 2 or 3 bad things. So I'm only giving the basic 7 today. I'm going to be mean on KDB today, but Simon give him 8. Mahrez, after a decent cameo midweek, Mahrez looked even sharper here. He turned Baldock inside out on a number of occasions, although the final ball could have been better. Yeah, so he's given him a 7. I've given Mahrez a 6.5. I just thought, again, yeah, he did these sort of things, but just not good enough. He didn't. You could actually see City players a bit dubious about passing to him. I noticed KDB a couple of times, especially that one where he should have passed to him. He didn't. And this is a worry. I think it is a worry with Mahrez, and I think it's having an effect on his fellow City players as well. I mean, I don't know what you think about that, but I think that's. But I'm only going to give him 6.5. I wasn't impressed with Mahrez today. I thought he did certain things okay, but there's nothing there at the end. No final ball of any note. Sterling, no goal or assist, but performance somewhere near his best. He played a crucial role in the opener and ran the defence ragged all game from the left. Linked up superb with De Bruyne. So you give him a 9. I mean, a 9. I mean, yeah, I'm going to give him 7.5, which is a good score, one of the second highest sort of score of the day, if you like. But yeah, because he did play really well, but again, he just lacked that little bit, didn't he? He was very busy. He tormented Sheffield United, but what's the use of tormenting someone if we're not going to get anything out of it? I mean, you can torment all you want, but we need goals and we need assists, etc. And we didn't quite get that final thing. So I'll give him a 7.5, but I think 9 is well over the top there from Simon for the Manchester Evening News, to be honest with you. Torres playing an unfamiliar role as central striker again. He was excellent, a constant threat to Sheffield. Using all of his skill and intelligence to find space. Let's give him an 8. Yeah, I'm going to give him a 7.5 again. I thought he played really well. Again, without that final finishing touch. He's rated Foden. He was only on for like 9 minutes plus the injury time. He said on Foden, Simon, fresh legs to the final 10 minutes. He's given him a 7. Yeah, I won't rate Foden unless they do a 20 minutes or score a hat-trick in 15 minutes. I'm not going to rate any of the subs who do less than 20 minutes, to be honest with you. Gundogan for Mahrez was too late to mark, obviously. He came on, didn't he, in the 84th minute. My Citizen man of the match, well, I think based on there, if you look back at my scores that I've put up there, yeah, I'm just going to give it Walker. Obviously for the goal, I'm going to give him that. That's superb. Pep watching his last season. Yeah, well, Simon Prokofsky commented that Pep was giving some very detailed answers in his press conference, but unfortunately he was on mute, so we didn't get to hear them, so we not had a chance to have a look through. Animation-wise, he was quite comfortable first half, wasn't he? He was sat in his chair, quite happy. I believe he was sat in his chair for like an hour before kick-off as well, just watching things. But the second half was a bit more animated, and say he was having a go at Ederson, wasn't he? So yeah, but it's nice to see him animated. He picked an okay team. As I say, he did go back to what he's done before, didn't he, with the inverted wingers stuff. And, at least we were spared the Gundo and Rodri double pivot or whatever it's called. So that wasn't too bad, was it? Yeah, so if I had to mark Pep, yeah, I'll give him 7, which is my average for the team. So I'll give Pep a 7 out of 10. I don't know, I'm not really deserved a mark today, really, but that's what I'd give him. Post-match, yeah, Walker. Just explaining the game and why I toned down the celebration for mum and dad's sake. Yeah, I mean, obviously his mum and dad still live in Sheffield, and that's why he wasn't over the moon, obviously, and it was his boyhood team. He went on to say, I'm just happy to get on the score sheet and obviously happy to get 3 points, which was the main thing. I scored here when I was on loan at Aston Villa. Yeah, he scored against Sheffield then. So there's obviously something about Bramhall Lane that I like. I think he scored 2 out of his 10 goals at Bramhall Lane. So, all right. as statistics go, it's not the greatest, is it? It's a good 3 points for us because they're a well-drilled side. Everyone knows their position and they're a tough team to break down, but luckily enough I came up with a goal. Walker making his 100th Premier League start for City, yes, continue, that's quirky stats. Continued his fine from campaign against the Blaze. I'm enjoying my football, he said. We don't sit back and defend, we want to score 3 or 4, but it's great to get a clean sheet. Defensively, we've done fantastically well of late, especially Diaz since he's come in. Whoever steps in there are all good to put in top performance. There's always going to be a hangover from last season. Why would it be a hangover from last season? That implies we did something good. It's just that we're dealing with this at this moment in time. Yeah, so that was Walker, who had something to say after the game and became, obviously, in the headlines after. He's the sort of centre of attention. Right, quirky stats. Optajoe at Optajoe. Manchester City have won more top-flight matches on October the 31st than any other team in top-flight history, unbeaten in the last 12 matches on Halloween, and overall have won 16 of the 21 matches to take place on the 31st of October. There you go, Halloween City we are. 6 of Kyle Walker's 8 Premier League goals have come from outside the box. With his strike today against Sheffield United, his first away from home in the competition. So that was interesting. Stat City at Stat City. Man City have now gone 4 consecutive Premier League matches without scoring more than a single goal in each game for the first time since March 2016. A run stretching back 169 games. Kyle Walker is making his 100th Premier League appearance. We know that, don't we? Becoming the 37th player to do so for the club in this competition. And the BBC have threw a couple of stats at us. Manchester City have won 4 consecutive league games against Sheffield United for the first time since March 1930. There you go. I don't think we played them that often. No, well, we played them enough. We've actually played, is it 57 times now? We've won 19, drawn 18 and lost 20. So we're nearly at level pegging at Sheffield. So that's a stat I could remember. My old brain's working today. After losing 3 consecutive away games between March and July, City are unbeaten and they're past 6 on the road in the competition. That's what we need, consistency. I've been saying this. We need that little bit of running consistency. We've got Olympiacos, which we should polish off, and then we've got a little matter of Liverpool, haven't we? So that'll be very, very interesting. Just a few things on the media headlines. Obviously, it mainly concentrates on Kyle Walker. The Manchester Evening News also commented that Raheem Sterling and João Cancelo were terrific. The Independent says Kyle Walker's happy homecoming makes up for the blunt front line. I think they're on about I don't know if it's our front line that's blunt or Sheffield United's. I'm not too sure on that one. The Guardian, Kyle Walker marked his 100th appearance with a goal against his boyhood club. Of course he did. And the Telegraph, Kyle Walker scores winners. Manchester City get the job done against Sheffield United. I think that just about sums it up, doesn't it? Job done. MCFC.co.uk, our own things say, ton up Walker, fires City to victory. Sheffield United, how did they look at it? United produced another spirited performance but slipped to a narrow loss against Manchester City at Bramall Lane. A spirited performance, that's what we want, isn't it? So there you go. In conclusion, not a bad day, was it? We've got to be great. We've got to be happy with that 1-0, but we have got to put these games to bed. We can't play against certainly teams like Liverpool and be hanging on for 1-0, can we? We've got to take our chances. And I always said that, I was always told as a kid, hit the target. As if you hit the target, make the goalie work. But if you're going to hit it straight at the goalie, he's not having to work too much, is he? So just a little bit of deviation from that. Hit the target, but yeah, make sure it's a little bit away from the keeper so he has to do a bit of work, not straight at him. That's probably what we can learn from this, isn't it, from today's game. But I'm happy with that, happy with 3 points. It did put us back into 7th for a moment, obviously before the afternoon's games. No doubt we'll be back to, 8th, 9th, 10th by the time this all finishes. I'm not sure how all the other standings go. I mean, we'll eventually play our game in hand. I have no idea when that'll be, and we'll have a better feel for it, won't we? Anyway, thanks for joining me. Of course, I'll be back with a preview on Monday of the Olympiacos game at the Etihad, and another team we haven't got a lot of history about, but we'll find something to talk about Olympiacos. And that obviously kicks off at 8 p.m. on Tuesday, November the 3rd. So I'll be back on Monday with the actual preview of that game. And please check out all my City stuff on here. And as I said, if you want to have a look at film and TV, what's new on film and TV and what's worth watching on box sets on the various channels, have a look. There's lots of stuff on there. So that'd be very, very interesting for you. I mean, I've just done The Sister, for instance, which has just been shown on ITV, and a lot of people haven't watched it yet. They usually watch it on binge watch it on the hub. So yeah, just have a look and see what my view of it is after the 4 episodes. Anyway, please check my links on screen. If you follow or friend me on Facebook and Twitter, I do check every couple of days and follow and friend everyone back. It's absolutely fantastic. And as you know, I used to own a video shop in the 90s and 2000s, hence my love of films and TV, etc. And please, I do have my web. You can visit my website, moviegamenostalgia.com, for old rare DVDs, movie posters from the 1990s and 2000s when I used to have my shop. Some board games on there as well. If you can visit moviegamenostalgia.com, that is much, much appreciated. Right, thanks for joining me, guys. It's been absolutely a happy day. At least 3 points in the bag. Another goal scored, and this time we get a win, isn't it? Sometimes we score a goal and only get a draw or a defeat, but this time we score one. 4 games on the trot, we score 1 goal. But we're quite happy. We're happy today, but please, Blues, a few more goals. You know, please, let's score a couple so we're not panicking or worrying a little bit. I wasn't that worried, but you know, I was a tinge worried just in case. Because you never know, do you? I mean, Sheffield weren't very good, but you know, it only takes, anything can happen, can't it? A slip, or especially the weather's, if the pitch is wet, I mean, the goalie might slip or a defender might slip, and it's a draw then, isn't it, as opposed to a 3-point victory. Thanks for joining me. Whatever you're going to do the rest of the day, have a great one. Look after yourselves, look after your friends, look after your family. More importantly, let's all look after each other. And hopefully I'll meet you all again on the Citizen channel or the film and TV channel very, very soon. Thanks for watching. Saying goodbye for now. Please stay safe, Blues.